Yeah. So I got to know about it from your post on CodeChef. And yeah, so there you had mentioned a lot of companies, and American Express was one of them. So there were total three interviews, and all of those were eliminatory. So it is not important that we give the best possible answer for everything. They just want to know how we think. The level of difficulty was as such that even after the interview, I did not know if I have said the right thing.
Hi everyone, thank you so much for such an amazing response to the previous videos. I am back again with the 7th episode of internship series. Like we're talking about Let's Talk Internships. So we're bringing up people from tier 2, tier 3 colleges who have got internships at some of the tech giants, mostly off campus. So in this episode, this episode is going to be very special because the person that I've brought, she got this internship through one of my notifications. So you can see that the results are coming. So that made me very happy when I got to know this. So in this episode, we'll be going to discuss about American Express off-campus internship for tech analysts that she got through an off-campus drive that by American Express. We have discussed about each and everything about American Express in one of my videos. Like I've completely analyzed American Express in one of my videos, so you can go ahead and check out that video in the Operation Theater playlist as well. But for today, we'll discuss what is Sudhi Awasthi's journey. So Sudhi is basically she's pursuing her Bachelor's of Technology from Kamala Nehru Institute of Technology, and she has recently got an internship at American Express. We have had a very good discussion about American Express as well and various other things that she is involved in. So this is going to be really amazing. So do stay tuned and let's see what Sudhi has to say about her journey. So thank you so much, Sudhi, for accepting the invitation, coming here for sharing your journey. But before we start with the actual process, we'd like to have a brief introduction.
Hi everyone, my name is Sudhi and I'm a final year student at KNIT Sultanpur. Right now I'm interning as a technology analyst intern at American Express. Before that I was also a participant at Google Software Product Sprint. I have also done a little bit of competitive programming and was a part of CodeChef's initiative Women in Competitive Programming. Yeah, that's about it.
Yeah, that's super amazing. We'll move on to the actual process, but before that, would like to know more about you. What was your college life? Like, were you part of certain societies, clubs, and like you participated in certain events? So, would not want to know something more about these.
Okay, so I think I am the kind of person I try everything. So in my first year, I auditioned. So the societies have auditions, right? And then some kind of societies have auditions, and the other kind have interviews. So all those dance, singing, drama, I auditioned for everything. And I got selected in everything also because the standards are not that high. And then I had to choose one, so I chose singing. So I was a part of the cultural council of my college. And after that there were the main council of my college, which I have been very active, is called TFT. It is basically it's like we teach our juniors. So people who come in first year from places like who have different problems, some don't know English, some don't have never studied C, so they are in the zone that they won't understand things. So we make up for that difference. So I used to teach C in that council, C language, and that is the main council which I was a part of. Other than that, I am a part of Offcampus Chapter also. That is also one club where I was really active before lockdown, and yeah, I think yeah, that's about it. Not any other club.
Yeah, so you feel like I have also have a similar personality. Like I have also been a part of a lot of clubs and societies, and I do understand the importance. Like they play a significant part as far as the interview process is concerned. Like when we talk about interpersonal skills or when we talk about communication skills, so these things do matter, right? So I
Yeah.
hope you agree with this.
I agree, but I really so there has to be like a boundary. So for me, as I mentioned, the singing part, I was very active in my first year. I was a little bit active in my second year, and then I completely stopped being active there because there are so many things. But
Yeah.
for example, I mentioned the teaching part, so I really enjoy teaching. I have also I was also a mentor for programming workshops that happened by CodeChef 2019. So I really like teaching. So there, I did that also, and because of that, I did not realize at that point, but my skills of explaining things have really improved, and that is a very good to have skill for interviews. So
Yeah.
yeah, they
I
matter,
guess.
and
And
obviously we cannot just sit in college. We have to explore ourselves, and that's how we do all that.
yeah, perfect. That's really interesting to hear a lot of things about you. Next, coming upon to the process for American Express, like was this an on-campus opportunity or it was an off-campus opportunity?
No, it was off campus.
Okay, so it was an off-campus opportunity. Like we'd like to know more about the rounds, like how you got to know and like which were the rounds that they conducted and like what was the interview process for the same. Like if you can brief us about the same.
Yeah. So I got to know about it from your post on CodeChef, and yeah. So there you had mentioned a lot of companies, and American Express was one of them. So there was a kind of test which was happening on Tech Gig, and it is not Geek Goddess. Just to clarify, it was a separate test which was open. I gave that test. It was just a very simple test. It had some, I think, 20-30 MCQs and I think 10-15 minutes of time. And the questions were very easy. They were from C, like basics of everything, basics of C, C++, basics of Java, basics of Python also. There were one, two question here and there from machine learning basics also. So it was a whole variety of, and it was no negative marking type of test. So I gave that test. Out of 100, I think I scored 88, which means out of 100 I scored 88. And then right after the test, I got a message that you will be taken to the next round. Maybe because they had a cutoff that people
Okay.
scoring above this will get the test. So then this happened in early November, what I mentioned right now. And then after 10 days, around in mid-November, I received a test from Codility. And that test was a DSA test. And it had 3 questions that had to be done in 2 hours. It was Codility. So the feature of Codility is that you cannot see if your code is passing the test cases or not. So that was one interesting thing, and I had very less experience in this kind of editor, in this kind of online judge. So yeah, after, and also the mail specifically mentioned that the whole test thing, the whole if I will be taken forward or not depends not only on the test but also on my overall profile, and this thing was specifically mentioned in the email. So after that, I cleared the test, and I received a mail, I think after 1 week, that I have an interview scheduled. So there were total 3 interviews, and all of those were eliminatory. So I was only informed about the first interview. When the first one was done, then I was informed about the second, then third. So I'll share about each interview one by one. So the first round was about my projects. In that, she discussed only my projects, and there was no DSA at all. There was a puzzle, but I never prepared for a puzzle. So, and I also did not give the best answer. So one thing which I want to point out is it is not important that we give the best possible answer for everything. They just want to know how we think. So there was a puzzle. So if you want, you can read Geeks for Geeks puzzle. And other than that, it was totally on my project. And I remember discussing my Google Software Product Sprint project with her. So this was the first round, and I think within 2 days, and I think it was 2 days because it was weekend. My interview happened on Friday, and I got to know on Monday that I have a next round, and I think that next round I scheduled on the same day. So this next round was a mix of DSA and little bit of like our computer science basic subjects. So he started with asking computer networks basics, and not very difficult. Like basics means how do you write an IP address, and what is a valid IP address, and everything of that sort. So after that, he moved on to a DSA question, which was on the lines of what he just asked, related to IP addressing, something of that sort. And this was one question which he asked, and other than that, he asked me again for my projects. So one thing I wanted to point out: the questions in the tests, the standard of DSA questions in the test is more difficult as compared to the standard of the DSA questions that are asked in the interview. So and also the interview, the focus is, for in my case at least, the focus was more on the projects that I have done and how I'm able to think. One more thing which I want to point out here is that it is not very not that strict kind of thing. So in my interview, I remember that he asked me a question, and there was some sort of library that has had to be used. Some STL function had to be used, and I forgot how to write it. I forgot its syntax. So he said that you can Google it and read from it, because it doesn't matter. Syntax
Yeah.
doesn't matter. So this is also like one thing I really liked, that they are not they are open about that's okay to not know the syntax. Then after that, yeah. So I think I got the result of this round also on in 1 or 2 days, and then there was the last round, which is with the director. So this round was very unique. I have given a lot of interviews, but I have never given a round like this one. So, and I would say it was difficult. So, the level of difficulty was as such that even after the interview, I did not know if I have said the right things. And same for each and every question. Because it was not a questionnaire, it was more of a discussion on general computer science things. So, for example, I remember him in one of my projects, I had just called APIs, and he started discussing about how do you think APIs are designed. I had no clue how APIs are designed because I have not worked on web development. So maybe he wanted to know how I react when I see things which I don't know at all. I don't know what was on his mind, but he asked me this, and then we had a discussion on this. Then it slowly went on. So we were discussing things that are actually used in software development and how they are the concepts of operating system at the back end, or they are the concepts of computer networks at in hiding, something of that sort. So again the discussion moved in the way where he asked me something, and then it came back to multi-threading. So, and it was a discussion, and also I asked him also things like, so he asked me something, and then I said, but do you want me to think in this direction, or do you want me to think in that direction? So it was a very fun interview. I really enjoyed it, and I was equally nervous because I was just speaking whatever was coming to my mind, because generally when we go for interviews, and we know that they will ask what is normalization, and like there are some standard fixed questions, but it was so different from that I did not know if I said the right things or not. So this happened, and after 10 or 11 days I got to know that they are extending me the offer. So the whole thing happened in 20 days.
Okay. So that was like complete and detailed review of everything from the online coding test, MCQs test to
Yeah.
coding test and all the interview rounds. So like it was pretty insightful, and like to anybody who is aiming at cracking such interviews, like it would do have knowledge, but what it matters is how they communicate the things, how they discuss it on the spot, and that things comes into the picture when we talk about a particular selection or not. That was pretty much good. Like now we'll move on to your particular preparation strategy. When we say like how did you prepare for these software engineering roles, or like your interest in software engineering roles, like when you talk about your first year, second year, so like when did you start or something? Yeah.
Okay. This is very interesting. I really like sharing this because it is not a role, like it is not very, it does not sound very nice. Like doesn't sound कि हाँ बहुत सारा कुछ किया है. So I started doing competitive programming in my first year, first semester, and it was long challenges only. And interesting thing, nobody in my college new or endorsed code forces. So all of us knew only about code chef because we had a campus chapter, and we all of us, everybody in the first year, all pumped up. We all used to do long challenges, and that went on. I did it for my whole first year. In the first year, I also did some little bit Android projects. I remember, uh, to just know what Android is. I was just interested. So yeah, that's what I did in my first year. In my second year, I continued doing competitive programming, but I also, yeah, in my first year, I continued doing competitive programming, and I also started going towards the advanced section. So I was not fast enough at this point. I was still doing long challenges only, but I knew graph, DP, thoda thoda. I knew all that. I did courses on Coursera in my first year summer. Then whole third semester CP only. Fourth semester, half of it CP, and then half of it was uh, I did something to teach CP in my to my juniors. So whatever I learned, I just taught all of that to my juniors in my hostel. So because girls were not doing CP, and we did not have many seniors whom we could approach, so we wanted to solve that problem. I along with my friends who were doing CP in the hostel. So that my time really went to that in my second year. And interestingly, this coach chef opportunity came where they were looking for volunteers who wanted to teach. So I got that opportunity also, and then I taught it was called competitive programming basics workshop. It was for school students and first year college students, so I conducted that in IIT Kanpur because I live in Kanpur. So then after that, this was in, and I was also doing an internship in Lucknow at that time, which was a software development internship, but it was a very small period of time. Then I did a research internship at IIT Kanpur for some time in my third year, first semester. And till this point, I did not know DSA. I only knew competitive programming, and that too only long challenges. So I was good, but I was not fast. So then in the third year, second semester, I started shifting myself towards making becoming interview ready sort of thing. So then I started doing interview bit. You said because okay, I am telling all this because I did not prepare specifically for any company. This is like my
Yeah.
whole. You can know what I know, how I know it from this. So then I started doing interview bit. I was also doing code forces and failing at it very badly in my third year, second semester. But I was there for some time on code forces. Then then after that, I think, yeah, pretty much that. And interview bit was going on in my third year, second semester, and in my fourth year, Corona happened, and I had this Google Software Product Sprint opportunity that came to me. That happened, and GHCI and GHC. These are two really great opportunities which I had applied for, and I got accepted in them. And then November, this American Express thing happened. So that's about it.
Yeah, that was like lot of interesting things happened, like starting from just doing long challenges, then getting an opportunity as a mentor at Coach Chef, and then moving upon to various other events, like you got an opportunity at Product Sprint and GHCA.
Yeah,
So that was like a lot of things. Like if any girl student wants to aim at certain things, like if they're looking forward to GHCA, many people are not aware of these things as well. So like
yeah,
I have been seeing certain videos on certain women in tech opportunities as well. So maybe like we want that more and more people should be aware. They should know the benefits of these. So we'll
yeah.
continue sometime later. Next, like this was all about your preparation strategy. Yeah, one most important part of the recruitment process is the resume. So,
Yeah.
like, was your part in any process? Like, were you asked the resume in the very first, or like you gave it later, and like what role it played in the interviews, and why?
I
How we should prepare a resume? Yeah.
Yeah, I think I was asked my interview right before my codility test because that's how they would judge the profile. So,
Yeah.
yeah, that was it. So, the whole thing which I mentioned, everything which I mentioned right now, all of it is written in my resume and everything is crunched in one page, which has been a very difficult task. So, yeah, I don't think I have any special things to add on how, like, what is a good resume. And there is nothing, I don't think there is anything as specific for American Express. So, in general, like, there should be projects which you have done, there should be, I think, like, some people have no projects, but they have great ranks in contests. Some have open source contributions. So, there is a variety. You can choose your version of a good resume. So in my case, at the time of American Express, I had my on my resume just these things which I mentioned, and yeah, just two projects in achievements, the GHCI and GHC thing, and software product sprint also I have written in achievement because it was in white only. So I think, and one more thing which is crucial to my resume, and it is crucial for everyone, is that you should mention, for example, I am saying that I am a GHC scholar. So how would somebody know that it is an achievement? So I have mentioned there. So one of five Indian GHC scholars, one of 250 in GHCI scholars, then again one of 72 students to be invited to Google Software Product Sprint. So you have to tell them how and why it is an achievement. Similarly, for every experience which I have written, I have not just written what I did. So I remember in my I have written like conducted classes, 28 plus hours of classes. So you have to quantify whatever you have done. You cannot just vaguely say I did this and I did that. So that's about I think the resume part of it. There is nothing as such really special.
That is a very good point that you picked up regarding the numbers that we should mention. Like even when you're describing certain projects, also like we do need to mention the efficiency or how we improved the
Yeah.
project, how we made it more cost effective, like how we use the cost. So these things do matter when we talk about resume making. Yeah. So now
Yeah.
coming upon to the final piece of advice, like you would like to give to anybody who is aiming at cracking such tech giants.
I think you should anybody who wants to be a software engineer should try to do as many things as possible. So right now, what is happening is that a lot of us know a lot about a lot of things. So we want to be everywhere, which is not possible. So, for example, I'll give you one example. In my second year, in my third year, everybody around me was doing machine learning courses, and I did not do it because I knew that I wouldn't be getting the chance maybe to start as a machine learning engineer, and I did not want to give my time on that. So you choose what you have to do. There is no set path. There is no only steps to follow and then only you will get something. Just know the basic building blocks. Like anybody who is in first year should know, okay, there is something competitive programming, there is something such as open source, there is something such as scholarships which are good to have, a lot of different kind of things, that these things exist, and I have to try out as many as possible so that I know what I want to do very nicely. And this trying out should be done in first year, I think so. uh, different things and talk to different people. And one thing which is the most important thing for people who don't have seniors in college who are active in that way. So in my case, I did not have anybody in my college who told me about any opportunity because there is lack of opportunities and lack of awareness there as of now also. So be very active on LinkedIn. Like I think anything and everything which I have been able to do is only because of LinkedIn and only because of understanding how LinkedIn works, how job thing, like the whole job scene works on LinkedIn. So be very active on LinkedIn and try to understand from we have now it's about really how you can Google stuff. So anybody who asks me anything which is not experience oriented for it, or I just tell them to Google, read 10 different things about that, one from Quora, one from YouTube, and then they will have a nice idea of what you have to do. And that's how I understood what I had to do. I did not have anybody to tell me what exactly to do. So for everything, just Google, read from a lot of resources, ask a lot of people. There is no point, there is no harm in messaging unknown people on LinkedIn. Some people think that it is not normal, but I have done that also. So try to gain more perspective in all ways possible, and then you will be able to pick for yourself that what you want to do and what you don't want to do. Yeah, sort of
So
advice.
this I feel was a very mature advice, and everybody should have like this is something that we is the need of the hour because opportunities do exist, but people are not aware of those opportunities. That's why they miss upon certain
Yeah,
opportunities. There are very good opportunities for first year and second year people. Like even I was not aware at my time. Like there are so
yeah,
many opportunities. We also became aware of these things when we came in our third year or final year when we are looking forward to internships and jobs. So this is something that people should understand. Like they should be active on such platforms and they should search upon these topics. So that was
yeah.
pretty amazing talking to you, Sudhi. Like it was like really very interesting and to know more about you as well as the opportunities that you have been a part of. Thank you so much once again for accepting the invite. Like your journey was really very insightful. I hope many people will be inspired. Thank you so much once again.
Thank you.
I hope this journey inspired you to achieve more, to desire more, and to gain more. So this was just one episode. Like we are coming up with amazing content ahead. Go ahead and subscribe if you haven't already, and do share it with your friends. Do like, share, and subscribe everything. Thank you so much. Good luck. Bye bye.